Let me show you this tweet right here. We have this tweet from Andrew Kaczynski. You know him, you love him. He says, every single county moved further right in New York this year. If it comes down to just a few seats, New York Democrats and backlash to Democratic policies, rule in New York will have cost them the House. So Hochul wins. Zeldin loses. But how many votes did he lose by?
So he lost by about 350. And I told you right before we started that over the last, I think it's 3 years in New York, they've lost over 550,000 people. So if you just look at that math alone, Zeldin had people not moved, but you have to put in a zillion factors because COVID made everybody crazy and everything else. But it's like Zeldin could have won. The fact that he even got it this close and they flipped some of these seats is incredible. Like that guy is the all-star. DeSantis obviously is the starter all-star from this thing. But Zeldin is a close second. Every
single district in New York shifted left. I mean, just one more time. Every single county. Look at that.
Shifted right.
Sorry. Shifted right. Shifted from the left to the right.
It's all one thing when you look at it from space, man. Go far enough left and you end up on the right.
But you mentioned 550,000 people. I remember covering that story. Hundreds of thousands from Manhattan left. And who would be more likely to leave? People who want freedom. Where did they go? Across the United States, they went to Florida first, Texas second, and what do we see? Both of them became more red. They and Georgia as well. I don't know about Georgia, people moved there, but Kemp defeated Abrams handily. DeSantis gets this double-digit win, and everyone says things like he's a good leader, he had good messaging, he cleaned up the voting laws and rules, all true, but also consider all the political refugees who went there and wanted to vote for him. They moved there for him. He attracted these people. So there's some good and there's some bad. And the bad is, I was worried about this, that if people were going to be fleeing, it would make red areas redder. And then you leave New York, it becomes bluer.
In some respects, though, that's how this whole thing was set up to be, right? I mean, the idea of federalism, that the states will be extremely different experiments of democracy and you will go somewhere that is in line with your values. That's really how it was supposed to be. If New York... Putting even New York aside, because they tried at least. Cali it's just never coming back. But if that's what they want, I still have some friends that live there, but it's like, if that's what you want, I don't know what makes us united anymore. And unfortunately, the blue states will always encroach on the red states. Florida doesn't want anything from a blue state.
Right.
The blue states will want the tax money and all the resources of the functional red states. That's what I think the next frontier is.
But on the other hand, we have to understand Florida was a purple I think was a purple state.
Anymore,
now is a red state.
Anymore,
but Ron DeSantis barely won his first time around.
30,000 votes.
So it was
a meth addict.
It was extremely close. And now this larger transition from New Yorkers to Florida, I think, has solidified Florida as a red state.